Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Take 5. It is Sunday, March 13th, 2011. So let's get right to it. Matthew chapter 10, verse 2. The names of the 12 apostles are these. First, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew his brother, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the tax collector, James the son of Alphaeus and Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanian, and Judas Iscariot who betrayed him. Alright, this is take 5, so I've got 4 minutes and 20 seconds to just briefly go through this list and just say a few things about them. First of all, Simon, who is called Peter, unquestionably, out of the 12, the leader. We see Peter stepping up everywhere where the other guys won't. We see Peter showing more courage than anybody else. We also see Peter showing more dumb, I guess, or stupid than anybody else. He sticks his foot in his mouth a lot, talks way too much, yet he's the one God and Jesus gives the keys to the kingdom to. We'll see that in chapter 16. He's the one that gets to preach the first sermon after Jesus is resurrected in Acts chapter 2. He's the one that gets to open the door to the Gentiles in Acts chapter 10. Without a doubt, the most influential of these, and along with Paul, the two primary leaders of the church in the first century. And that's Simon, who's called Peter. And Jesus changed his name, and we'll see why later. But incredible the impact that he had. And Andrew, his brother. Andrew also tremendously impactful. We'll see that later. And you can read about him in Fox's Book of Martyrs and in other historical literature. And if you notice also, we've got James the son of Zebedee and John his brother. And if you remember, those were the guys that were fishing, and Jesus said, "Come follow me," and they left their nets and left their father and followed Jesus. Now I want to make a point. These first 4 guys here were the top 4, and I hate to rank them like that, but without a doubt they were. And you see them in places you don't see the other guys. You see Peter, James, and John on the Mount of Transfiguration with Jesus when he takes 3 of them along. And Andrew sort of gets in that little small group sometimes, and the rest of them are important. They're part of they're 12 apostles, but they're not quite in that inner group. When Jesus takes a few of them to pray with him, he usually takes Peter, James, and John, and sometimes Andrew gets in there as well. Also, the other point I want to make about these 4 guys is you got 2 sets of brothers. And how sweet it is if you can get somebody in your physical family that's also in your spiritual family. And I'm thankful. I've got a sister and a mother who are both obviously in my physical family, but are also fighting the good fight in the spiritual family. One of them decided to go into the full-time ministry, even from a very early age, and has geared her entire life toward that. And sometimes she's been blessed enough to have a church support her, and sometimes she's supported herself, but she's given herself completely to winning souls for Christ and leading Christians to stronger relationship with Christ. So I salute you, and you know who you are, and you've been such a great encouragement to me, and I'm glad you're my physical sister as well as my spiritual sister. And I also appreciate your brother-in-law and your kids. They're awesome. And then I've got a mother as well, and the changes in her are incredible. She's not the same woman she was when she was my mother. She's a lot better, and she would admit that, because of her relationship with the Father. So she's my mother and my sister, and I'm thankful for that, and I'm coming to see you soon. And I've got another sister who I'm also proud of, but she's chosen to go a different way. Yet she's a great sister, so I didn't want to leave you out. Just in case by some chance you're watching this program, I love you too, and I do hope you find your way back to what we're looking at here. Now, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the tax collector, and we'll see Philip do some amazing things too. We don't really see a whole lot of Bartholomew and Thomas, except Thomas known as the Doubter. But I think he kind of got shortchanged with that name because he wound up being a martyr for Jesus. Matthew, of course, is the one that wrote this gospel. Simon, James the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanian, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. And that's sad that one of these guys that spent so much time with Jesus would betray him, but it was part of the plan. It was prophesied that one would, and if he hadn't done it, we wouldn't be saved today. We can go into that later maybe. Anyway, that's all I got time for. Ordinary guys like you and me, God did incredible things with them. Come back tomorrow. We're going to learn what he told these guys on the next edition of Take 5.